Alright everybody, welcome back to the reassembly video, this RCA 10-inch tablet. So we have our new piece of glass here. It's got its plastic film covering on both sides. So we're going to go ahead and remove the covering off of the back here. That way we can go ahead and pull back the tape covering along the sides. Just be careful not to touch the interior portion of the glass after you remove the back plastic cover. Now with that done, it'll make it a little bit easier if you remove this front plastic as well. You don't want to get it caught underneath the tablet as you're trying to adhere the glass to the frame, so just be a little bit careful with that. Now with that removed, we can go ahead and take our ribbon cable and insert it through the slot here. It can be a little bit tricky. There's a little piece of glue stuck on mine. You want to make sure the glue is cleaned off nice and well. I have a little glue ball stuck within the slot, making it so it didn't want to go through. Try that again. Perfect. Now with that done, we're going to go ahead and just take it and insert the corners in first. It'll be a little tricky, so just take your time. I find it easiest to start with the ribbon cable corner first. Make sure your ribbon cable is pulled all the way through. Then work your way down to the opposite corner so it still has its plastic housing on the front. Let's work our way down the corners and make sure everything's inserted correctly, sitting flush, which it is. It's working our fingers along the sides. Now remember, the place where it's going to be adhering is about a 1/4 of an inch interior into the tablet. So now we've flipped it over and we're just pushing down on the inside of the frame to make sure that we get the adherence that we're looking for. Now with that done, I did actually touch the interior portion of the glass, so I'm just going to take a dry microfiber cloth and wipe down the inside portion. You don't want to use any alcohol or anything on it. You don't want to cause any streaking. So a dry microfiber cloth is usually the easiest thing to use. Once we feel pretty confident that we have it nice and clean, the next step is to go ahead and take and insert the LCD. You may want to blow it off or rub it down with a dry microfiber cloth as well if you need to. Now we have our LCD portion. We're going to go ahead and reinsert it into the frame. Start with one side first. We're going to insert just one down underneath the clips. Make sure the digitizer cable is pulled out and away. Then we can go ahead and press down on the sides of the display here and get it to snap back into place. Just take your time and try to snap it in evenly. You don't want to bend one side. And every once in a while you might hit a clip that you might have to pull back a little bit, guitar pick or a tool, and get it to sit nice and flush. Usually on the last far side that you're putting in, it's a little bit tricky. So just take your time and make sure it's sitting in there perfect the way that it came out. See, this one's being a little bit tricky, so I'm just going to use a nylon spudger to get a little bit more push against it. Perfect. Now we have that all put back together. It's looking nice. So I'm just going to flip it around. Now we can take our piece that we removed that has our motherboard, our battery in it. I want to go ahead and start reassembling it. So basically just doing the same thing. We're just going to take it and we're just going to flip it back over onto the device. Normally there's a little glue residue. You can see where the battery is going to sit back down. Just make sure it's nice and flat before you go ahead and put it back onto the mid frame here. The key thing is to push back in all the portions here for the motherboard. You want to make sure the mic goes back in its slot, the USB ports line back up. And to do that, you can make sure that all the screw holes lined up. Usually when that happens, that means you've got it in a nice solid spot. If you have a ribbon cable, we're just going to go ahead and tuck it underneath the board before we screw anything down. Now with that done, we're going to go ahead and put our 3 screws back in, starting with the bottom one down here first. Put in the middle screw. Then one more here at the top. We're going to go ahead and reinsert our cables in our battery here. So I find it easier to put this LCD cable in first before you put the battery back on. So let's go ahead and slide the cable in and then push the pull tab down. Same thing for the digitizer, glass ribbon cable. Take our battery and just line it back up and press it back down as well. Put on our Wi-Fi piece of tape here. We're going to go ahead and pull back the metal tape with a little silver fabric tape. And make sure we have that to put back over the cable to hold it down as well. Let's go ahead and push this cable all the way down. It's going to sit nice and flush, and then we can go ahead and put our tape back down. Go ahead and fold our tablet back cover around. Put our keyboard connection cable back on. And snap it down. Now we can take our back cover and go ahead and reattach it. Start with the power button side first. I found that to be the easiest. Go ahead and just try to snap that portion on. Make sure it's nice and flush. Then once that happens, you can go ahead and work your way down the sides and the back. Now I found that once you think you have all the snaps in, you probably have missed one somewhere. So just work your way around the sides of the tablet. Make sure everything's snapped back into place. Go ahead and see if we can power it on here. Now it may be better to go ahead and power the tablet on and make sure it's going to function before you reassemble it. Looks like the battery's most likely dead. We're just going to grab a charge cable here real quick. And plug it in. There we go. Give it a few seconds to charge, and to do that we're just going to go ahead and put our 4 screws back in. One on each of the sides of the tablet. Two more to go. Skip ahead a little bit now that we have a charge on it. We're going to go ahead and power it on. So you can see that the LCD is definitely working for us. Let's go ahead and test our touch function here in just a second. This tablet does take a long time to load up. Alright, and our touch functions are working for us. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. If you want to see future repair videos, go ahead and subscribe to me. I'll put out a couple a month. I appreciate you watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.